Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters, and welcome back to game number 2 between TSL Polt, the blue Terran player over here in the bottom left-hand corner, and his opponent, roxkisLive Zerg, up here in the upper right-hand corner, the purple Zerg. And this map is going to be Korhal Compound, and it's going to be a learning experience for both of us, because I actually haven't even played on this map yet, and you might ask me, PGL Milncraft, how have you not played on this map? It's been on the ladder pool for several weeks now, and the answer is, I've been playing a lot of 4v4, just because I happen to find 4v4 and 2v2 and 3v3 a lot more fun. Although I do try to keep up my 1v1 play. But you know, I don't know. I just enjoy those. I enjoy those large multiplayer games more. I'm not exactly sure why. Part of it is because I play with friends. You know, like Skyping while I'm playing, and so that's the reasons I like to do you know, team games and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just find it more fun. StarCraft 1's a lot more, or 1 versus 1 is a lot more cutthroat, I suppose. And players BM, well, I don't know, players BM in different ways, but a losing player will almost always complain in 1v1, I've noticed. Or at least, not almost always, but a vast majority of the time they'll complain. And in 4v4, they gloat when they win. And that's the difference between the BM of 1v1 and 4v4, which is very interesting, actually. And I'm not really sure the psychological reasons behind that. I only took Intro to Psych, didn't take any other classes of that, so can't really give too much insight there. But anyway, Korhal Compound, we are going to be able to take a look at this map. This is, as I was saying, a very new map addition by Blizzard into the map pool. And very nice for them to, you know, be able to change up the ladder map pool so that people can try different things. It has a fairly easy to defend early expansion. There is a gap here, is a relatively sizable gap, so it's not really easy to wall off, especially for like a Forge fast expanding. Protoss will have to definitely do it with the Nexus. They can't go up on the ramp right here like they can on like Belshir Beach, for example, or on Shakira's Plateau. And there is a ramp here, so that allows you to put siege tanks or something like that if you're Terran up on the ramp, or sometimes attacking units to help defend the expansion just a little bit. And it's certainly easier to defend than something like Xel'Naga Caverns, which is the map it was actually kind of designed to replace. And there is a third here. The third does have an alternate channel you can attack from over here. So the third is somewhat defensible, but you have to keep sliding away from your main base. You can see the fourth is all the way over here, so you have to keep sliding farther and farther down. So as you take each expansion, it becomes progressively harder to defend each one. Which I suppose is, I mean, that's basically the intent of this map. There are also some Xel'Naga watchtowers over here in the middle, and they overlook the middle. However, you can go around them just by going through these channels, either through the expansion channel here, or through this expansion channel here. And you can either go through this channel or this channel. And I don't think, oh no, there are rocks which widen the gaps on each of these side expansions to make it a little bit harder for your opponents to attack those expansions should they end up deciding to do so. It looks like he has stolen some minerals from Live Zerg and is refusing to give them back right now. And it looks like the starts for both players have been basically exactly the same right now. Spawning pool is completed, the gas is started, is actually 100 gas has been now mined, and so he will be starting speed any second now. He is actually still mining gas. Which is not something too expected, although we're going to have to kind of see what he ends up doing with that gas. He hasn't gotten speed yet, which is kind of interesting. And it is going to be a Reactor Hellion expand. I would expect nothing less from TSL Polt, as that's what he does in such a high percentage of Zerg vs. Zerg games. Looks like he did a ton of damage to that Overlord with his Marines right there, and is able to fly his barracks over to finish that poor Overlord off as it explodes, and its helium, or is it hydrogen? I think they're filled with helium, drifts into the air and creates more holes in the ozone layer on Korhal, which of course, as we all know, was hit by, yeah, nukes, right? I think I'm remembering my Brood War storyline correctly, that it was laid to bear, like it was absolutely destroyed by nukes. Sons of Korhal. Yeah. I believe it was Korhal. I might be screwing it up. It was, I don't know, it was whatever faction that Empress Menx was from. It looks like these Hellions are going to slide up. These Queens should be able to defend it just fine. He doesn't have Zergling speed, and actually, oh, that's why he wasn't getting it. And that's why he kept mining gases. The Roach Warren, which we now see 8 roaches on the way, so he's definitely going to be aiming for a little bit of a roach aggression against his opponent. We're going to have to see if he keeps getting more units behind this. Most likely he will not, is my guess. And he's probably just going to draw up behind it and possibly expand behind it because he doesn't have speed on his Zerglings, and so you can't really reinforce with Zerglings without speed, because Zerglings without speed are basically the worst unit in the game. And I'm going to say basically like 10 more times, by the way, during this cast, just to make sure I say it enough times. Looks like, oh, barely able to take out that creep gem when Polt goes down. And it looks like Live Zerg has actually turned his roaches around to try to engage the Hellions. There are 6 of them right here, but TSL Polt is now getting some Marauders right now, and that's actually allowing him a lot of time to get those Marauders up, as well as a bunker potentially, although it looks like he hasn't quite started a bunker right now. And speed has now just started, by the way, for Live Zerg. Meanwhile, these Hellions are going to be moving in for a counterattack right here, but the number of roaches has already been given up by roxkisLive Zerg, and it looks like these Hellions are going to go ahead and slide through there. Slow Zerglings are trying to do their best to chase them, but it's just not going to happen even with speed Zerglings. It's not going to be very effective here, so I'm not sure the roach aggression is really going to do a lot of damage. He does have, let's see, so 4 Marines, 3 Marauder. He's going to want to close those gates. And, oh, he tries to let another SCV and is not able to quite close the gates in the time that Marauder takes a ton of damage. As long as he can use the SCVs to... Nope, looks like that Marauder is going to go down. Marauders do so much DPS against these units. It's actually... that it's so important to keep them alive in these sorts of situations, but it looks like he is going to be able to clean up the rest. Meanwhile, these Hellions have killed a huge amount of drones right there, and it looks like a bunch of drones have run away, but these Hellions are going to go ahead and follow them back into the base. Looks like these roaches are going to be cleaned up at significant SCV cost. However, a lot of drones are being taken out as well. We're going to have to go ahead and take a look at the workers killed tab. Looks like it was relatively even numbers for workers. However, it's important to remember that drones can be replenished faster than SCVs, but on the other hand, let's go back to this. On the other hand, SCVs have mules helping them out, so their numbers are a little bit less important than the numbers for SCVs, just because the extra mules represent about 4 additional SCVs mining, and you can see those mules right there. Chugga, 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 chugga. And actually, considering there's a movie, The Lorax, is coming out now, don't these things remind you of something that the Onceler family would use? It's almost like the Terran player is reminiscent of the Onceler family. I kind of wonder if the Terran Dominion actually has... Oh, wow. He GG'd out of the game. How many workers does he have? He's on relatively even worker counts, and he just GG's out of the game. That's... wow. That was like an intro GG. He was... And now, okay, so I got flack for this. The last time I said, like, I was really surprised by GG, he was like, he clearly lost. Look, I'm not saying that they weren't behind in these sorts of situations, or even vastly behind, but he wasn't dead. This is even worse than the other situation that I was talking about, which was a Banshee. This is... Okay, so he's down 5 workers right now. Or he's up 5 workers, sorry. I misread that. He's up 5 workers. They're on 2 base, which is admittedly Terran favored. I think the army size is actually, yes, the army size is vastly in Terran size. So this army probably would have gone across and done a ton of damage and possibly killed roxkisLive Zerg. But I still think under these sorts of circumstances it is worse fighting it out, or it's better to be fighting it out. I don't know, like people say like, oh, well, you know, it tires you out. It doesn't, you know, like there's no point in fighting a losing battle, but that's not true. There are situations your opponent can make a large mistake, which can allow you to come back in these sorts of games. And so, I mean, it's just kind of my opinion that you should try to fight it out until, like, it is absolutely certain that you've lost. And I suppose, you know, it's kind of a sliding scale, and, you know, Idris is, if he's not winning, if he doesn't have a 60% chance of winning, he'll try to GG out of the game. But, you know, Live Zerg, he probably has, you know, I don't know, probably maybe a 10% chance of winning. It might be higher than that, actually, as he does have a lot of time to get additional army units to help defend against that push right there. And he doesn't even know that TSL Polt is going to push right now, but although it's probable, I would guess. But anyway, he did end up GGing out of that game, so we're going to go ahead and move on to game number 3. This is PG on Minecraft, signing off.